My grandma had a house near Santa Cruz, and when there was a earthquake up there in the late 80s, their chimney fell off their house. She was completely fine. It fell the other way.
Just bricks all around her.
Yeah. It landed all around her. She was Buster Keaton.
She's standing there with an umbrella.
Walking like...
That was a close call.
Speaking of close calls, now the boys are about to discuss this hall table or shoe bench or whatever it's supposed to be.
I'd say the abstract one is the least
finished.
There's that one, there's that one, there's that one.
Okay.
The initial use for these was going to be a bench in the entryway.
Yeah.
That has maybe changed to now a bench at the end of our bed. So the shoe storage function now is not as critical. So when I showed her these three, she was like, oh, that's so cool. Or the idea of having something almost like an art piece was very intriguing to her. She liked this one.
That doesn't really feel like a foot of a bed.
Yeah, I mean, kinda does. I mean, you could put, 2 flat pillows on that. This one, definitely, I don't think is end of bed material.
No, it doesn't feel like
I think this is entryway material. Both of these, her initial reaction was kind of like, oh, cool. And then I explained, okay, the drawer fronts are rounded and all, and then this one was like all the angles and things. She said, oh, that's interesting, yeah. But this one still spoke to her the most.
So I would say of the three of them, like this one's the most like museum artsy kind of piece. The rounded one is probably the most like functional and would be like the piece that most people would actually have in their house.
Right.
But it's subtle.
Yeah.
In that like a lot of this stuff it's like stuff you would notice in real life and in detail shots, but at a glance like this or in a thumbnail, if this was the thumbnail, you don't really notice the subtleties that are going on.
It's definitely a piece where if you're not a woodworker or a furniture fan, you look at it and
you don't appreciate it
and
as
go,
much.
oh, it's a big thing of drawers.
That one I would say is the most like Foureyes-y.
Yeah.
It like fits our aesthetic the most.
Definitely.
If I was choosing one to have in my house, I would pick this one.
I mean, I like all of them.
Yeah, they're all good. We're gonna be on like a little slatted kick, huh?
I know.
So if that's the one that you think's best, I'm fine with that one. I think that's a cool one. And then
I'm gonna
sit on that other design and use it for something later.
Definitely, I like both of these. This could be a credenza or something, and then this one obviously.
Yeah, that one's the most like, here's what the design is.
Up until this point, it's basically been, I know the parts that I need to make, and there's still a couple more spacer type things I need to make. So up until this point, it was just like, I know the shapes I have to make. I was able to do that fairly easily. That's kind of the usual stuff. But now it's the assembly, or getting to the assembly part, and I was sitting here trying to think, okay, what's the next move? And it's a little tricky just because there's so many parts. And with this piece, none of the angles or anything really matter, So this angle, it's all arbitrary. It's just a matter of repeating it for every single part. As it comes together, I have to be really careful that as I build it out, they're all perfectly lined up. Right now, how I'm thinking about it is I'm gonna basically build it from left to right. I'll start with one of those because those are my two outside things. Then I make some sort of jig that basically spaces from the top of the maple parts to, all of these and those are supposed to be at the same level. So I'll basically make a spacer jig for that. Spacers here, and then I'm gonna do one here and then one on the very end just to help everything stay more rigid. It'll hang slightly below this. So, if this is all flipped upside down, it'll hang slightly below, but it'll be behind that. I've done enough of this where that along with being attached to, these big thick side panels and this and putting the spacers and stuff, there is a chance where I get it all put together and I sit on it and I go, oh, it's a little bit like, whoa. But that's part of it, and I'll do, if I get to the end and it's like that, I can do things to stiffen it up. It's a weird mindset shift. I still struggle with it just coming from, before I did YouTube, I was trying to be a furniture designer and maker. And so everything I thought of was iterations and how can I make this better? And when I make this the next time, what am I gonna do? If I take any sort of pressure off of it being a working piece and it being something that can be sold or made into plans or something, if I take all that out of the equation, I enjoy this more because it's way more experimental and things are new, and it's a mindset shift for sure. And then YouTube, it's not only do they want something new every video, if it's not something new and fresh and grabbing in the first 30 seconds, people are over it. It's like such a extreme version of it.
We could just carry this over.
Just make a thumbnail. Where are we going?
I don't know.
Or when are you taking that home,
Huh?
Shaun? Yeah, I know. I keep meaning
Yeah,
to
take
bring
this home.
Kimiko's car. Maybe I'll get it this weekend.
It's actually pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
For...
So what about it?
What do you think George Nelson would say if he saw this thing?
He'd probably give me a cease and desist.
I don't know if this is true, and I don't even remember where I heard this, but he didn't like people coming into his office for meetings, so he wanted to design something uncomfortable to sit on for long periods of time. It's fine, but yeah, you wouldn't want to like watch a movie on it.
Yeah. Oh God, can you imagine? But I did get the spacing and just like the slatted.
Yeah, like this part
is
basically it, but then...
Had I never seen a Nelson bench, I don't know what else I would have done.
Yeah, I don't think he necessarily invented that joint.
Like,
I think it just like is the most popular use of it.
But definitely his bench is very nicely spaced and proportioned and stuff. The design was just to have these two pieces, but then I realized when matching this angle onto, if you took this cap piece off, I have screws up through each one, so it's gonna potentially cut into the screws, and then I needed space for dominoes, so I just added extra width. This one, I liked that it ended up looking like this, even beyond just the structural aspects of it. I like how it almost looks like the slats are encased in that chunk of wood. It was kind of a
happy accident?
Is
he still alive? I know he's not.
No. Is that all you have to say about the bench?
I mean, I really like it, and I think Jorge Nelson would agree.
So that's one of the reasons why I'm being overly sensitive about the views, is because I'm like this is one of my best. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like one of my best pieces of furniture, but just from like a form factor, I'm like, I'm really proud of this. And so I'm annoyed.
Well, it's early still, so.
Crossing my little fingers.
I was gonna say when I was putting this on is I was gonna tell you to look at yours. No, try to look at like your collar. Yeah. I always think it's funny that like to look down you have to go. What if you just kept the normal face? You just went.
Yeah, because
you can't do it.
No, you feel your throat starts to get.
Yeah, you can't.
Jammed up.
Dude.
And so if you do that.
Here, try not doing it. Just. Just like.
Yeah.
Pass out.